Mr. Kluge, after taking office on February the 1st, you have been facing a major challenge, coronavirus. The situation in Italy is critical, and North Macedonia, Greece and Croatia have each confirmed the first coronavirus cases. Almost all countries are double-checking suspicious cases. Is Europe prepared to tackle a massive spread of the virus?
The World Health Organization is working with each of the 53 member states in our region to be as ready as possible. We have focal points in each of the 50 countries working around the clock with us for the health system to be ready. It means to be able to detect cases, to treat patients, very important, with dignity and empathy. We do not want to have discrimination, like social discrimination, and that once there is a transmission, that transmission is being stopped, particularly in healthcare facilities. The protection of the healthcare workers is a top priority.
Is your paying visit to North Macedonia, what is your assessment of the preparedness of our authorities to address the coronavirus outbreak?
I would like to congratulate the authorities very sincerely and objectively, particularly Minister Filip Civencu, because what happened in North Macedonia is that there was a capacity assessment whether there were enough human resources and infrastructure even before the first case arrived. For example, straight after the situation in Italy, the minister took the initiative to establish a multi-sectoral emergency crisis team under the Prime Minister to overlook the response. The 10 public health centers have been involved in the country for the prevention. There are facilities which are ready to receive patients, diagnosed and confirmed patients, but also facilities to put people in what we call quarantine if need be. So this is all evolving, as we say. Of course, if the situation would, let's say, increase, then it will be necessary to have additional capacities and to respond, particularly to have enough human resources. But as of today, we can say that the country is following the WHO recommendations.
Are screenings of the passengers at the borders considered sufficient to prevent or control the spread of the coronavirus? Do you think that tighter measures should be taken, such as closing of borders, so as to prevent spreading of the virus?
So, first of all, Northern Macedonia has implemented what we call SOP, Standard Operating Procedures, at the points of entry, including the international airport, in line with the WHO recommendations. Now, there was a ministerial meeting the day before yesterday in Rome. I came here straight from Rome yesterday, had a press conference with the Italian Health Minister Speranza, the European Commissioner for Health and Food Safety, and the European Centre of Disease Control. There was a meeting of the Minister of Health of Italy with the neighboring countries, and there it was decided not to close the borders, which is something that WHO supports. Of course, countries should be ready. What's important is if there is in a country like China really big outbreak, that there is exit screening if people leave the country. Having said that, in a number of countries there has been patients detected also upon entry screening. But the country, North Macedonia, is implementing this standard operating procedures.
Mr. Kluge, is there really any room for panic? What is the coronavirus mortality rate compared to the mortality rate of seasonal flu?
Yes, this is an excellent question, and I would like to be straightforward and speak to the people of this wonderful country also. There is no any reason for alarm or for panic. We do understand, and I myself as an infectious disease specialist, I completely sympathize that people are concerned about their health of their family. It's a new virus, so we take it seriously, but after all we should remember that today we have 81,000 plus cases, but 97% is still in China. So the 3% is in 47 countries outside of China. Second, 4 out of 5 patients, so 80%, is having mild symptoms and recovers. 15%, about 15% of people have more serious symptoms, and 5% are critical. The mortality as of today is about 2%, but this can also change. For example, in China, which thanks to drastic measures is now getting a good handle on the situation, the mortality is 1%. For the normal seasonal flu, it is true it is lower, but let's not forget that each year it is estimated that there are about between 60 and 70,000 people who die from seasonal flu, for which we have a very effective vaccine. So my message is no reason for panic. At the same time, let's take advantage of the vaccines. Vaccines save lives. Your country has been doing a lot of good job, for example, to increase measles coverage. Also, I myself, I am vaccinated for seasonal flu.
So far, the world has faced outbreaks of Ebola and SARS. Now we are in the middle of COVID-19. Can you give a comparison of the mortality rates of these diseases?
Yes, it is a bit too early to say. We are now in the phase, let's say, that we are learning every day, and that's why it is so important that the countries work hand in hand with the WHO, particularly countries with a lot of cases, like China, like Italy now, like Iran, South Korea, so that we learn about the transmission, about the mortality, and know much more about the virus. So it's a little bit early. WHO has convened a meeting 7 January with all major public and private partners, including the World Bank, to make a blueprint for research and development to accelerate a new vaccine. Clinical trials maybe start in 3 to 4 months. Usually it takes about 1.5 years for a new vaccine, but we saw in the case of Ebola, where WHO also was coordinating, that we shortened that time frame. The same for the treatment.
You said 2 years ago, during your visit to the first National Health Forum, that you would come to the second one if reforms develop in the right direction.
Yes.
You are here now, and does that mean that the reforms are properly implemented?
Yes, I'm very impressed that you remember indeed my quote, and it is true. I am a man of my word, like your minister, Filipci, is a man of his word. It's not easy to go with a reform of primary healthcare. I always say a health system is like a big tanker, and we need to be innovative and disruptive in our thinking, but evolutionary in the health system reform. The minister decided to go on with a focus also on improvement of quality and have indicators. We discussed today improvement of quality of maternal and neonatal health, and absolutely the country is moving forward, is looking at the critical issue of having enough nurses and doctors. Also, how are they distributed in the country? And then a very innovative system which is called patronage system, which was something that I remember 2 years ago the minister personally wanted very much. I have been visiting the Bucharest clinic this morning and spoke to the healthcare workers and the patients, and this is being implemented. There are 2 demonstration projects, so the importance will be to quickly incorporate lessons learned and then scale it up at a nation-wide level. We also discussed it over the lunch with the ambassadors, including also the European Union, who were also very, very supportive of the reform. And tomorrow we will discuss some new ideas how the international community can also step up its support to North Macedonia and the Ministry of Health.
Mr. Kluge, thank you for your time to give interview for Media Information Agency.
It is a great pleasure. Thank you and good luck.
Very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.